Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another gameplay video. You'll notice a different background setup. I am home with the family, just want to be around during this crazy time in our lives. But with that being said, guys, there's still good Dragon Ball Super content to bring out to you guys. Want to bring you a little bit of gameplay. I do want to make a note that IRL gameplay is going to be pretty hard to come by now. I do have one more video set up for IRL gameplay, but you know, because of the whole quarantine stuff, that's going to be pretty hard to do. I do want to bring you guys some Untap and OCTGN gameplay if possible. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. I also am thinking about bringing you guys a tutorial video for how to set up OCTGN, how to set up Untap. I've got a few requests for that. So let me know if you're interested in that, and we'll get that set up for you guys. I could drop those this week. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But here we have a Skilless red-yellow build going up against my Demigra deck list. I did actually want to bring you guys my Demigra deck profile and talk about a bit how I would change it going into the draft box format, but you know, a lot of channels actually coincidentally just dropped their Demigra deck profiles, so I felt like it wasn't the right time to do it. I didn't feel like it wouldn't be relevant, but let me know if you guys want to see that as well. So comments should be popping for this video. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so never miss a video. If you want to buy any of the cards you see in today's video, make sure you use my link to TCG Player in the description. So getting off to my first turn, Nick, my friend Nick on the left there, hit his ideal turn one. Kid Goku, search a ball and pass. He's in a combo out of the smaller attacks. I actually just did a Patreon article recently talking about this matchup in particular, where you're going to want to combo out of the smaller attacks generally so that you can afford to take some of the bigger ones, because Demigra does drop some big overwhelms. They do drop the 20k gravies pretty consistently. So sometimes you are going to want to combo out of the smaller stuff. Now you'll notice here, I didn't go for a full onslaught. I attacked my leader. I noticed Nick comboed out of that attack. I attacked once with Turles, and since Turles has dual attack, he went back to active mode. So I left Nick at 7 life there. He did get to go first, so he could actually like drop Heartfelt Plea on me because he's playing a red-yellow build of Skilless, which can easily spit out a 25k or higher red battle card in the form of a 30k red Skilless. You'll notice the Zarbon in his energy. So with that in mind, I don't want to give Nick the turbo turn of, you know, like dropping Heartfelt Plea and whatnot. So I'd rather just leave him at 7, drop a bigger board next turn, because turn 1, you really can't go off as much as you would like to. So I'd rather drop a much bigger board going into my next turn. Nice thing too is he's not playing a blue variant of Skilless, so I actually have pretty free reign here to go all in, and he can't Senzu Bean. So the fact that he doesn't have Senzu Bean is really good for my deck. Anytime you play Demigra, if your opponent is not playing blue, you are going to have a generally good time. Like, red can be a little bit tough, but you do have answers to a lot of the good red cards with Super Kamehameha. Like, you have answers to Vegeta Exploiting Weakness. You also have answers to Topo. Bean is a bit of a card that you can have a problem with because, you know, it's a free combo on their part, essentially. When you're trying to be the aggro deck, you don't want to deal with your opponent's free combo cards, especially if they last for the whole turn. So we're going on to my turn 2 here. I do have the potential to be pretty crazy aggressive here. I do have the Demigra promo in my hand. I do have another Turles in my hand. So I should be able to drop all that relatively easily. We're going to go leader into leader. Get the mill 3 off. And yeah, in this version of the deck, I don't happen to tech like Champa or anything non-black. So we're always going to get that leader swing off. He's in a combo out of the 10k leader swing. Again, he wants to be able to afford to take the bigger hits. But I do play SS3 Tag Team Trunks. Not a card that you have to play, but a card that you can play. I really do value the double strike crit, and since I personally main deck time regulated Vegeta, it does help out a lot that a lot of times in slower matchups I can drop Vegeta and then I can draw a card off breaking out Trunks, and then I don't feel as bad for warping a card from my hand for the activate battle. So Nick is going to give up a super combo there and not draw to defend against that 15k double strike crit. Very interesting. So he is starting to run low on cards, and this is, again, how I was talking about in the Patreon article. This is how you are going to play hand control as an aggro deck. You notice that they're doing this. You notice they're comboing out early, and you can use that to your great advantage in terms of like resource and card economy. You know generally that they're going to be lower at hand size when you need to go in. So I'm definitely keeping that in mind as I am playing this game. But I still do have the avenue for quite a few attacks. I left myself at 5 so that the 1-drop Black Mass Sand can get me awakened and still attack for a threatening shot and not put me at too low of a life total. So a little bit of an explanation there for you. So again, Nick can combo out of the smaller attacks. And now I'm going to attack with Turles here. I don't feel a need to use Activate Battle because if he wants to awaken, sure, awaken on his own turn. He can drop Heartfelt Plea if he wants to, but he is losing on a very big tempo turn. I notice he takes the 2 Turles swings, so I'm going to drop my second Turles. Again, no real need to go activate battle here. We'll see if he decides to awaken. Also important to note, he does not have a Skilless in the drop area, so he can't awaken until he gets to 4 life. He can awaken now, and I have 2 very big swings to go at him, and he's only got 7 cards in hand, so my deck is generally doing what it wants to do. He does have, looks like, 2 topos for his following turn, and he is going to save the awaken here, but he doesn't have the Heartfelt Plea, so that is the piece he's pretty poorly missing here. He definitely wishes he had that Heartfelt Plea. We're going to get the awaken here. We could follow up with some more stuff. We're debating it. We actually passed turn, though, and the reason I do that is because I want to keep my 2 energy for defense. I think I do have a Super Kamehameha and a Power Burst, so I actually have some pretty defensive cards in my hand. And again, I know he's playing a Heartfelt Plea strategy. I want to be able to be defensive enough to defend against it, because Skilless can combo really big out of nowhere. So I do want to have valid defense for his Heartfelt Plea shenanigans, and then once I deal with that, I can then go back in with my huge board. I did, however, mess up. I did forget to put 3 back into my drop area with my leader. I'm noticing that right now. I definitely should have done that. Oh, and Nick rips the Heartfelt Plea right off the top. So Nick is looking to be in a pretty good scenario here. Definitely in a good predicament. I'm just lucky that Battering Laser is not a card anymore, because if that card was still around, I'd be in big trouble here. So Nick is going to use his Kid Goku to clear my Black Mass Sand. It's free value for him, but he is putting his engine basically in harm's way here. Pretty weird swing, but we'll take it, I guess. 30k Zarbon into leader. Now here is where he wants to put me to 3 life and then go in the Heartfelt Plea. Of course, I can have the negate, which I do have the negate, luckily. And also, luckily, I did not put myself in a predicament where I was tapped out. So we're looking okay here. And I got another negate off the life, so we're even safer. Not that we needed it, but we are in a very safe predicament. So Nick is going to declare his awaken, activate Heartfelt Plea. His leader is 20k because on the backside when he draws, he gains a permanent 5k for the turn. I was pretty surprised that Nick didn't decide to use any energy before awakening, but it makes sense. He didn't really have any 1 energy plays, and he wants to keep energy for all his negates. He has Topos in hand, he has Roshi negates in hand. I think he also has Power Burst in hand. And yeah, he went from defending a whole lot of attacks to having a ginormous hand size. So luckily, I do have the negate to survive this turn, because if I didn't have the negate there, I was dead in the water. But again, that's a player decision to not tap out, not be too aggressive. Putting him at 2 life was perfectly fine. We'll see what he decides to do next. He's going to go leader into a Turles, and I'm going to negate that. I want to keep all my threats, as many as I possibly can, and I'm going to pick up the Black Mass Sand from my drop area that he killed earlier. So now I'm going back to my turn with 2 Turles standing, a Gravy, and a Poutine. He does have access to Topo, but I do have the Super Kamehameha. So I'm looking okay here, but he does have a very large hand to play defense with. So we'll see how this goes. Nick gonna discard the Champa. I definitely agree with that. It would have been a little greedy to keep the Champa, because that's assuming he's gonna survive this next turn. And you want to have the least amount of dead cards in your hand to defend with as possible. So I totally agree with discarding the Champa there. We're going to use the Activate Battle of Turles now that his leader is awakened. He's in the combo 5. We're going to attack again for 15 with Turles. Another 5. Turles again. Yeah, and one of the big additions to this deck is definitely the Nagrishi from Draft Box 5. Because you can attack with Turles, discard the Nagrishi, and the Nagrishi has an effect that says when it's in the drop area, you get to warp one of your 3-drop battle cards that's on your board and then play him from the drop area for free. So you literally turn Turles there into 3 15k attacks instead of 2 15k attacks. It's actually really nuts. Yep, so that's a 20k swing. He combos a Vanilla for a 10k thanks to his leader's effect. He's going to Mutaito the Mira, which is a great move by Nick there. We'll see if I can come up with a way to kill him. I think I still have a lower hand size than him. Maybe about like 2 or 3 cards. He does have a negate that he can use for sparking, so if I generate another double striker, he'll be alright. But at this point, when you see that I'm using Demigra promo and going down to 1 life, this is basically all in play. I know he's tapped out. I know he has to sparking for negates. So essentially, he has to do damage to himself if he wants to defend an attack here. He could have a multitude of super combos, but I believe he's used 2 already at this point. One of them I know he used as like a blank. He didn't draw off of it because he wanted to defend early. We're getting the extra overwhelm for the turn here with the Trunks. Finding another super combo, absolutely incredibly good. Getting rid of the Black Mass Sand so that if we do Power Burst later on, which we can't Power Burst later on, but if we did, Black Mass Sand would be the best thing in the drop area. So 15k Trunks going in at the leader for a 35k. Okay, now he has 7 cards in hand, one of which is a dead 10k. Now, I don't know that as the player, but I know that as the commentator. I don't really think he has a choice. He either loses his whole hand or he combos out of this. So yeah, he could get to 25, 30, he gets to 40k. So he could lose his whole hand to defend this. But then I would just attack with a poutine and make him take another damage and then go into the gravy. So I guess in actuality, he should have just defended with the Power Burst. He's going to choose to do that. He's going to choose to lose his whole hand. He has the Power Burst, which he's kind of forced to use here. And then I just go all in with a poutine. And unfortunately, no real way he can defend that. It looks like he's not even going to Power Burst, which is a very interesting call. He technically would have ended up with 1 more card in his hand, but it wouldn't matter. That's just going to be the deal there. And yeah, this is one game that we decided to record out of a match, and it did go to game 3. Nick actually had a very good shot against his deck. He just didn't see some of the cards he needed there. But yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. And again, I would have liked to record more IRL games of it, but the quarantine thing, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So again, guys, lots of things in the comments. Let me know if you want to see some Untap Octagon gameplay. Let me know if you want to see a tutorial on how to set up Octagon Untap. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Stay safe out there.